Good morning. I hope everybody that listens is keeping well. I've been reading a little bit about negative theology and been wanting to make this video, but I'm not trying to change your mind or convince you of anything, all right? This is just a thought experiment. Hmm? So I've been reading this book. It's about negative theology. And so, right here in the forward, it says, "The Tao that can be spoken is not the Tao. Si comprehendes, no es Deus. If you meet Buddha, unalive him. I pray to God to free me of God." So, in negative theology, the um, the investigator, shall we say, is using retroduction as a way of, moving forward in his investigation into the absolute. Instead of using induction and deduction, no, the investigator is going to use retroduction. The Tao, the absolute, I mean, you can call it whatever you want, the divine, God, the monad, you can call it the soul, like the ancient Indians, they call it the soul, or the Brahman, you know. The Tao that can be spoken is not the Tao, meaning if you can speak of the monad about it, it's not the monad. If you understand God, then it's not God. If you meet Buddha, if you meet the Absolute, then unalive him. Why? Because Buddha, the divine, is just a spiritual appellation. It's not a person. All right. So when it says if you meet him, unalive him, you're never going to unalive him because it's not a psychophysical person. It's a spiritual appellation. I pray to God to free me of God. I pray to the monad to free me of the false conceptions I have of God, right? And that's pretty much 99.99% of the world. They think they know the monad, but they don't. That's religion. They know about religion, but they don't know anything about metaphysics. Why? Because this monad, this divine, uh, this God is unknowable, unnameable, and ineffable. Right? Why is he unknowable, unnameable, and ineffable? Because think a little bit. You're an artist, for instance, then you decide to paint, right? You go and choose canvas and you start painting. You are pouring yourself into this painting. The painting is a reflection of yourself. If you look at the painting and see, oh yeah, it's really beautiful, and the analogy, follow this as an analogy, right? There's a piece of you in that painting, right? But you are not the painting, right? But people that follow your art, they will recognize your art. Oh, that's a painting of that guy. How do you know? Because I see a piece of him in that painting, You are imprinted in that painting, but that painting is not you. You see the analogy? It's the same thing the negative theology, the retroduction methodology is trying to tell you. If you know God, it's not God. If you comprehend God, it's not God. If you've seen God, it's not God. Yes. Right? Because whatever God is present here, right? Because we recognize it, but he's not here. He's outside, right? Some people call it the creation. Some people say it's an emanation. I'm more into the emanation side because it's possible that this is almost like a sleepless dream. and everything is just emanating from the monad, from the divine. It's just emanating, you know. We could recognize in this emanation, in this creation, whatever you want to call it, we recognize the monad, the divine, but the divine is not it. The divine is something else. All right. So I'm going to keep reading. In the context of contemporary uses of negative theology, perhaps I can sum up the main contours of what I understand to be an apophatic metaphysics. And I rely chiefly on Eurogena and Eckhart. These are pagans from, a long time ago. The nothingness of God becomes something when, through creation, God becomes other than God. Thus, God can paradoxically be known when other than God. God's energia in the Byzantine tradition. Creation as a theophany. Theophany is manifestation of a deity in a sensible form as the very alterity or otherness of God, the simultaneous transcendence and immanence, the simultaneous procession and return. In this dialectical way of understanding the unfolding of God, the oxymorons of the mystics begin to make some kind of sense. Silent music, bright darkness, unknowing knowing. So, this is just some food for thought. All right. I'm not trying to change your mind or convince you of anything. But if you are dreaming a dreamless sleep and you are, um, an artist creating, and you pour a bit of yourself into your creation, you know, you are that painting, but at the same time, you are not the painting, right? Imagine that those figures that you painted the started getting animated by the soul, by your sheer presence. Those figures start getting animated in those paintings. That's everything they know, right? And they gain conscious. Imagine that. That's everything they know, and they see that they are a reflection of the divine, no doubt about it. But they are not the divine. So, okay, this is just some food for thought. Have a nice day.